and she said, I need my service hours. And so we worked with her on this business survey. And she actually did her senior presentation, or capstone presentation, on her results and findings from the businesses about art and what do they want. And so what we want to do down on Broadway, according to the businesses, is they want to have more of a theme of music. So they're looking at what can tie all of these different cultures that we have in Seaside. And that's the one thing that can really do it, is music. So we're talking about how do we have more performances, how do we inject music in different ways. And so as a result of that, we did this little survey, and the survey said, we gave them a choice of, for those of you watching on the camera, and if you're doing that, oh my goodness, get something better to do on a Tuesday night. But sea images were the choices, nature images, and music images. And people overwhelmingly chose music images. It was like 90% of them did. So they wanted to inject music on Broadway. Now other areas where you may do art on utility boxes can do their own thing. It's not saying it has to be that throughout Seaside, but the Broadway area that we're kind of defining as our little downtown has said we want music to be our theme. And you'll notice that we gave them just ideas of pictures. We didn't say that this is the exact thing that is going to be painted on your utility boxes. There's a few things about the utility boxes on Broadway. First of all, they're brand new. They're stainless steel, and so our city engineer, who made a quick exit, had talked to us at one point about painting those, and he said he would prefer those to be wrapped because they're brand new and they're stainless steel. And so we were talking about having like a graphic design of something with music and professional. And so if you guys have suggestions for us as to how we can find somebody who could do something like that for that area and start working on that aspect of it, how do you take something that would be a high quality, high class design for our new downtown? And I know sometimes we get things, and I get this a lot too, like MPUSD comes in the door and they're like, well, how do we have a student do this? And it's like, yeah, that's great. There's a couple of things with that.
Yes.
Our city manager is not quite a fan of that. You know, some people might be proud of some children's art, but that's not something that he wanted to see. He wants to see our downtown looking high quality. I also want to remind you that the city spent $7 million fixing up the street. So far, even with just the 6 new businesses that we have, they've invested over $4 million of private money. So I've got $11 million worth of investment going on so far, and there's more coming. So they really want to have things that encourage investment, and that's not usually children's art. That can go in neighborhoods where people want to see that. Downtown, we want to see some high quality graphic design, something that really is going to grab people, resonate. We have the car festival, the exotics on Broadway coming again. There's cars that are rolling in that are like $4 million cars. I would like to have art that complements $4 million cars, and I'm working with them right now to get them back again this year. So things like that are kind of important. We want to have more performances down on Broadway, so we're talking about how do we inject music into helping our farmers market survive a little bit better, having events like a street fair, again, emphasizing music with some of these things. We're loosening up our food truck regulations so we can have more food trucks down there, sort of creating the vibe of fun, everything that everybody wants to have in a downtown. So there's a reason that they shoved us down there, and I wanted to just let you know that this is what our Broadway businesses are looking for, is something like this last of how do we take music and have that be our theme down on Broadway, and how are some things that we can inject in places as well. Now, I'm going to challenge you with one more item, which is not agendized, but I'm going to stretch it a little bit because it's right next to the utility boxes. We have 110 bike racks. 110 bike racks in our new little downtown, and I have somebody that wants to do art on those. So, I know, right? Who does that? And they're little rings. If you haven't seen them, they're just a little ring. It's a loop. And I had thought, well, maybe somebody might be crazy enough to like crochet a little spider, whatever, you know, do something kind of weirdly interesting in there. But no, this guy wants to do like painting on that too. Those would be harder to wrap, and I talked to our engineer or interim engineer about that. And he might allow like 1 or 2 or a few to be painted if we did something like that. But again, how could we do like our music theme on something that's a ring? And is that something that would be of interest? And if so, you really don't want your community development director doing all of this stuff, because I have housing elements to prepare and ordinances to write and exciting things like that instead of art. So I could use the help from this committee to help, like if this is something that's of interest, I can make introductions. So the ring artist comes up here and you guys can kind of see, well, she said something music-ish would be good, and you guys can winnow the ideas of how do we take some of these Broadway things, and you guys say yes and no and save me the headache of having to do that.
How many did you say there were?
110.
There's 110. We would not be painting all of them because, oh my goodness, that would be,
Logistically
yes,
impossible.
right. And not to mention the biggest, we would have to define like
Might be a
a
little
maintenance
distracting.
issue too. That would hurt your eyes. Yeah, it would just hurt
Or
your
maybe
eyes at
the-
a certain point.
The front and the back end.
Yeah, there would be,
Yeah.
and or we could have like a few in a row, you know, like maybe
Mhm.
3 are, so it's a little serendipitous, you know, we'll come across something like that.
So Gloria, my understanding is you're asking for us to kind of maybe take this off of your plate, to kind of spearhead this, and then you're going to pass contacts and leads on to us for us to kind of. There's some best practices, like Visit Carmel just did a mural contest online, as well as Capitola did the same thing too about
Mhm.
5 years ago.
Right.
So we're looking at best practices, and we can probably use kind of like the methodologies they used to garner those professional artists along the downtown corridor.
Yeah,
That's
and I would
between-
say the correlation
yeah.
then too is not just me, but also the Broadway businesses. So when you guys are
Absolutely.
ready and you're starting to winnow, you know, you can come and talk to them, they can talk to you, I can even be an intermediary if I have to, if the, you know, if the schedules don't overlap. But there's ways that we can do it, so I think I view it as a collaboration, like you're helping them make their area look better, because you guys have the eye, you know, they know they just want pops of color and things here and there, so
Okay.
help them.
Definitely. I think we would definitely want to garner support from them and also get their input too as well. And I think
Yeah.
we can definitely put this out to professional artists. I think we were also in the process of doing Upper Broadway in
Mhm.
particular, that just basically east of Fremont,
Right,
and opening those up to community organizations, schools, colleges, and local community artists to do that too as well.
I'm
I
gonna
like the
urge
theme.
you a
I
little
like the
bit,
theme of music, though.
yeah, I'm gonna urge you a little bit of caution on going on Upper Broadway and to think a little bit grander, and here's why. I just approved 106 units of housing.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Yeah, on the
106 new units of housing coming adjacent to the post office, so where everybody dumps their Christmas trees. This is probably the last year you dumped your Christmas tree there. So it went through in November, it came through to community development, it went through the whole process, and in 1 month, we have approved 106 units of housing. So you're going to have a lot of people walking around there and
Yes.
looking at things, and we expect those to go quickly because they're gonna be like prefab construction.
Right.
So it's going to happen very, very quickly. So
Are you
again,
talking mural projects, public art?
I don't think that that's going to be a part of what they're doing, but their
Right.
design is going to have a lot of pops of color and a very
Okay.
contemporary feel. So it's a
Mm.
it's a very nice looking development, and I think it's something that's going to start to elevate places in Seaside, and I think it's going to inspire Broadway to start thinking better. And you've seen that happen in our downtown, you know, like some
Yeah.
of our cannabis
Mhm.
businesses came in and they made everything look good. Well, then the people that can't afford that much of a rehab, they're painting, they're doing little things at least to make it look better. And that's what we expected to have happen. I can only imagine what's gonna happen when we have these 106 units. So start
Right.
thinking about, what are you going to do that's going to complement that level of development? They're coming in with a lot of money, they're bringing water, that's how we're able to get this done. You know, let's do something that complements that development.
How can they bring water?
They own water. There's a few private entities that do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a whole lot of private
That's
entities.
the only way, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's
So-
all that I have, if you guys have any other.
Well, we look forward to continuing working with you, and then hopefully, collaborating with the businesses. If there's any way you can pass along some of the contacts and just
Yeah,
and maybe liaise
yeah,
in the kind of transition,
yeah,
that would be wonderful. That way
Yeah.
we can start contacting businesses and talking to them, and then also setting up online portals for artists to submit proposals and art,
right,
so that we can get the artists in here and talking about what they'd like to do, and then taking those pieces of art that they generate and showing them to the businesses and
Yep.
getting their kind of green light to it as well. So
That'd be
there's
great.
it's a collaborative and
yeah,
kind of moving forward. We're working with them to get public art, but
Mhm.
also art that's they're involved with that
Right.
design process.
yep, I think that would be helpful to all of us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Gloria.
you.
Appreciate
And
you
then I'll
coming
ask
through.
to get on your agenda again at a later
Absolutely.
point for a few other topics.
That would be
So,
awesome.
Yeah, so I'll
Yes,
work with staffers.
Let's keep this going.
All right.
Thank you so much for
Elaine.
coming. Okay, good stuff. Sarah and Ashley, you'll help the commission in getting those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or online. So just more like a subset of what we were
It's,
hoping to do.
it's actually a lot bigger. It's kind of opening the door for something a lot bigger is what I'm doing. So, we'll get into logistics in a little bit, I think, as we develop this a little bit further, but I know that there's some best practices that are already existing. Visit Carmel just did this, incredible mural campaign, and
Have they start, is it started yet? Or?
yeah, they just closed it, so, they're gonna have a mural going up outside of, Duffendorf Park, which is kind of they're asking the artist to actually do the stuff versus like paying for it. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
It's good seeing you. All right, moving on to thank you so much. We're moving on to David Little. So David.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't been to your commission meeting before, so this is new for me. I am David Little. I'm the chief building official for the city of Seaside. I've been here to Seaside for about 3 years, just over 3 years. And one of the duties that I was assigned when I arrived that I wasn't aware of was to be staff liaison for the Neighborhood Improvement Commission. The Neighborhood Improvement Commission is a very enthusiastic commission that has grand ideas, and they have some projects that they work on a fairly regular basis. They head up the Neighborhood Watch program, so they spearhead that. If you've seen the new Neighborhood Watch signs, they're kind of a smaller, not this big sign that has someone lurking. You know, it has they're yellow. They have a picture of the Seaside badge. Which is really, the Seaside badge is really a shield, is what it is. But it has that, and then it says Neighborhood Watch, and you've probably seen them because I think there were well over 100 of these signs that have been installed throughout Seaside. And then they have Neighborhood Watch meetings, and people that want to be part of a Neighborhood Watch program, there's decals that they provide that they can put in their windows that say we report suspicious activity. The other thing that they're involved in is the replacement of the street signs in Seaside. It was the Neighborhood Improvement Commission that pushed to have the city logo on the new signs that went in on Broadway. I don't know if you've seen some of them, but they're blue with white lettering, and then they have the city logo on them. So the push is to do the city logo on main streets. The street signs that were, you notice all the street signs were replaced on Hilby when the street was paved, and so that was the Neighborhood Improvement Commission that selected that blue sign with the white lettering. There's only a few different styles because of the fact that they're considered a traffic sign. They have to have a certain reflectance and contrast and all this kind of stuff. You can't really go wild with fonts and stuff. There's certain ones that are approved by Department of Transportation and some other government agencies. So, but what I'm presenting here is, and I'd like to just pass these out. This is one of the neighborhood improvements projects. It was a pretty important project to them. This corner of
I think Michael took mine.
Del Monte and Canyon. This is the corner of Canyon Del Rey and Del Monte, right across from the Embassy Suites. When I first came to Seaside, I wasn't familiar with it, and I stayed in the Embassy Suites for one night, okay, Sunday night, because I wanted to be as close as I could to City Hall to start work first thing Monday morning. And I went down to the lobby, and I thought, I want my family to know where I'm at, that I'm in Seaside. So I thought, I'm gonna get some keychains that say Seaside. I'm gonna get some refrigerator magnets that say Seaside. I'm gonna get all these things that say Seaside, so it'll remind them where I'm at. So I went down to the lobby of Embassy Suites, and they have a really, and this isn't a slight on that particular company, but I went down to their gift shop. They have a gift shop where they sell sweatshirts and pictures and all kinds of things, and they all say Monterey. Okay.
Or Carmel.
So I found one, and so I asked the clerk that was there, or the lady that was working, if she could tell me where I could find something that said Seaside on it. And she said, we don't have anything that that has the name of Seaside on it. And so I thought, wow, that's really odd, since this is since I'm in Seaside. So this project, I love it, because everybody who looks out the window at Embassy Suites from here on knows exactly where they're at. Okay, they know they're in Seaside. There's no mistaking. And so this was a very bold project. Now, this is an actual photograph that was taken last week, but there's some conceptual type of things associated with this. And this is what I'm looking for this commission to support and make and have some kind of a motion to support. The seahorse, because this does fall under the art. This was the person that was awarded this contract to present their art and make it a reality. This was that particular person's design. And the seahorse, which stands 5'9" tall, is a grayish color. It's kind of a in this picture, it's blue, because this is one of the items that the commission would like to do, is they'd like to change the color of the seahorse to make it more prominent. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And so, because it's kind of this darkish gray color, they believe that it's, you see the Seaside sign, but you don't really notice the seahorse. So this blue, and I'm going to call it Seaside blue, because it's going to be close to the blue that's in the color of the Seaside sign. Okay, because the sign is yellow, but there's some green and there's some blue that make up the emblem or the logo of the city. And then there's some other things that have been added to this picture that are, you'll see this pole over here, which has some solar panels on it. And there's some very strategic rocks that you probably didn't notice were added, okay? Those are the rocks that won by the S, the A and the S, and then the E. Now these rocks are going to shield some solar lights, okay? Because we don't have power out at this site, and because there's a strong interest to illuminate this at night. The last sheet of this this 3-sheet packet that I handed out.
And those are the rocks.
Right. So the idea is
with the solar panel, like, or the solar light projecting out onto the letters of Seaside. And then this is a solar array
that will sit on a pole, and the pole and that pole doesn't exist. That's just being shown as a. It was added to the photograph to show you kind of an idea of what it would look like. The rocks were added to show you what you're going to see. You're not going to see necessarily the solar lights, and they're going to be drilled and epoxied and to some boulders that can't be moved, just to discourage somebody from trying to take them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So So that is, that's what's being proposed. There was a private donor who has donated the funds to do the solar lighting.
Someone in Seaside?
Yes, yes. And so, in fact, this person had made a larger donation and wanted to have trees put behind the sign to block the business.
Yes, yes.
But unfortunately, we want to have a good relationship with the business owner. In fact, this particular business owner was even concerned about the sign going in because they thought that it would block their business, and we had to reassure them that it would actually enhance. It would cause people to look that direction for a longer period of time and may even help their business. And so, so anyway, we can't. Obviously, we can't support hiding business, local businesses from view, whether we like the way they look or not.
So, David, you're asking for our commission's support of this.
Correct, and
these additions to the existing sign.
Correct, and this will go to Bar,
okay.
And so this is just part of my due diligence because of the artistic, because it falls under the art of the city. We want to make sure that the Art and History Commission.
How many Seaside emblems do we have? I know there's one at the top of Broadway by General Moore. How many other seahorse emblems do we have in the city?
We have one also across the street, a little bit further going towards the pond, which is a large wooden seahorse.
It might be interesting to make a marriage, so
yeah,
it's
if we
kind of
could
standardized.
also make an addendum to maybe, I kind of like the raw wood of the seahorse, but maybe if we're going to make that one blue.
Yeah, because I don't understand why it was gray to begin with.
The seahorses are they're not blue, are they? If you look at real seahorses.
It was.
Yeah, but that's
Because
actually the
I
blue that
heard-
our city uses. So.
It was gray. To answer your question, it was gray because that's the way it was presented when we had 66 submittals for what this sign would look like. It was a contest, is what it was. Yeah. And the winner of the contest, the winner that was selected by the Neighborhood Improvement Commission, that was what his artwork looked like, as it was gray when he presented it.
So I take it that this person was not a Seaside resident.
Yes, this
Really?
person is a Seaside, is a local Seaside contractor.
But how?
Lovely.
Yeah, because
So
I've heard. Yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't like the sign for whatever reason. But yeah, the blue needs to be.
right. So I can tell you that the one person that was in the finalists for the sign had a sea star on the top of their sign, and it was more solid wall type of looking sign. And when the commission asked if it could be changed to a seahorse, the individual said that, well, that's ridiculous. Why not put a kangaroo on it? There's no seahorses around here. Well, that really,
no, there is.
that really upset. And
we know there's not, but
Yeah, there's not. But I mean,
And I lived near,
you can't change.
I lived near an area that's called Auberry, and they had crossed out the B-E-R-R and wrote B-E-A-R and carved bears everywhere. Well, there wasn't bears taking over the community. It was just a play on the name, Seaside Seahorse. I get that. I understand that. I don't know what color seahorses, are,
They
but,
range.
but I can tell you
we've already gone a little bit further because yes, there are no seahorses in the Monterey Bay area.
But
There are tropical species.
And the aquarium.
In the aquarium and their warm water exhibit, yes. But I mean, we don't need to make a motion on this for support. We can just do we need to make a motion for
Yeah,
support?
but he's asking for support.
Yeah, we're just
asking for support. Then give a motion for support.
All right. So not to cut you off, we do have a lot to go through,
Sure.
but I think all these changes they're smart, they're targeted, and I think it's this is an easy thing for us to support. I don't want to get lost in the weeds when it comes to, the sign's already there. We can't really You know, we're included in the judging? No, that's okay.
I make a
It's-
motion that we support
Okay,
your
so I just need
initiative.
that's a good motion, thank you very much. I need a second, please.
I'll second it.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank
You
you.
have our unconditional support
Just
going
a
forward with
FYI,
making these
if you look
changes.
for Embassy Suites Seaside, you don't find it. It's called Monterey.
Mhm.
Monterey, so
Yeah.
that's,
Well,
you know.
Well, it's
so that's
Embassy
when you
Suites
put
on Monterey
Embassy
Bay.
Suites,
That's what the builder,
it says
that's what the
there.
builder wanted, so.
Well, and just one
And culture.
comment about this sign, okay? I know that I've heard that some negative comments, but I can tell you, the majority of the people love the sign. It has become a landmark because I've talked to people that don't even live in the area, but when I tell them about the Seaside sign, they know where that's at.
Yeah.
That corner all of a sudden became a real recognizable corner. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention, since I didn't have any say in the whole selection of it, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that. But I know that the haters, there's always gonna be haters. You can tell somebody I want 2 eggs, 1 scrambled and 1 fried, and you can, and you bring it to them exactly the way they want it, and they'll say you fried the wrong egg.
yeah.
You know, so I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. I just want to tell you that most of the responses have been positive.
But
Okay.
I'm a Seaside alum of Seaside High School. A lot of my students that I follow on social media, they're taking pictures in front of it. They love
Oh
it.
yeah.
Look, so I mean, we were just, you know, in the inception of this though, we were kind of overlooked, and I think the fact that you're here talking and giving our input now, which is amazing. So thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
We're not trying to
No.
hate on it at all. So we appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, David.
What's that?
Maybe add a bench.
So-
Because it looks like we have a path.
No.
I don't. Well, no, I'm just.
I'm just gonna tell you right now because someone's gonna set up camp there.
So they didn't.
Yeah, that's why they didn't put
So
it.
you're responsible for all the buildings in the city.
No,
No.
neighborhood improvement.
You mean in my job with the
Oh,
city?
good job.
Yeah, I'm responsible for the built environment. So if you can
Built
figure out what the built environment is, if it's
I will-
free, I don't have to worry about it unless it's made into 2x4s and
Okay.
constructed.
All right. So
Thank
thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. So
Stuff at Walgreens.
Oh, good.
yeah, and at Safeway. No. I'm sorry, Lucky's. They have Seaside stuff there. Okay, so before we get too deep, I want to let you guys know if you look at D through G on your agenda, we are more than likely going to push these to February because we need to get through we need the review boards, commissions, and community handbook and the code of conduct, and that's going to take us a little while, and I don't want to keep you guys too late. So I'm making a motion as chair to move items D through G.
That would be at this point because we've added something.
Yeah.
That would be E through
I'm sorry.
yeah.
What is it, E
E
to
through
what?
H.
Sorry.
Either.
E through H. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because we added
Yeah,
David Little. Yeah.
E through H, please. So E through H. I need a second, please, because
I just need to say that I want to talk about California Real because we did get an award and there's a time
we did.
element on it.
Okay.
So I do want to talk about that. I don't care where it is.
Okay, it's
We
fine.
could probably you could probably do that in reports, right?
I
For
guess
staff.
That'd be good.
I thought, did we have to, I was at the meeting yesterday, and I thought that the report has to be given to council pretty soon,
April.
April, so we have.
Am I correct?
I'm sorry.
February,
The
March.
work plan.
The work
The
plan.
work plan.
Yes.
The work plan.
It's a work plan,
That has to be given, because I was at a
Yes.
meeting
Yeah, but
yesterday.
it's
but we have a structure for the
Yeah,
work
we have
plan.
that for.
There's a
yeah.
template.
So we already have a template. We're going off of last year,
Yes.
so that should not take us.
It shouldn't take too long for us to do it. But we do need to go. The one thing that I really want to spend some time on is looking at the code of conduct. Okay, so do I have a second on my motion to move most
So
of
that's
this?
G to H, right?
Hang on.
E
Sarah?
through H. E
No, I
through
said-
H.
she said not E.
through H.
E to, okay.
Yeah. So because there was
E
the
to-
one you're basically moving one letter down because
Okay,
because we added something to the agenda. Who seconded? Sorry.
next month, okay.
Did anybody second?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Who moved?
All those in favor
He did.
of pushing? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we're moving
Yolette?
towards the staff reports. Yolette?
I.
It's passed.
Not staff.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so can you please, in your packet, you should have a few items. One is a copy of Code of Conduct. There's also the City of Seaside Boards and Commissions and Committees Handbook. And there's also a copy of last year's work plan. And we are also going to, there's also, and we're going to get to this a little bit later, your California Form 700, you need to fill this out
So-
before you leave, and I think you're going to cover
So-
this in staff report.
No, I'm just gonna hand them out right now. So
Okay.
the one that they gave me to put in your packet has the wrong year on it. So let me just, yeah.
Wait,
So
did
next
you make some
time.
new
All
copies
had
for
the
us?
wrong reading.
Yeah.
You can cover that.
So,
Alright, moving on.
so I've got it if we want to hand it out
Thank
later
you.
on.
Alright, so
2017.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to a meeting with all the other chairs from the other commissions and committees for the city, as well as a sit down with the mayor and Leslie. And we walked through the code of conduct. We did a perusal of the new handbook. And so actually the code of conduct is in, I believe, the handbook too as well. There's a copy of it. There's also a code of ethics. So if you guys could take a moment, please, and just kind of look through the handbook. And it breaks down what committees and commissions we have here for the city of Seaside. It's funny, this packet doesn't include the work plans from all the different commissions. We got in our last one, which is kind of cool. Just saying.
Yeah, it has
Germany.
I don't know if this would be appropriate time, because we're looking at the handbook and somewhere it was the meeting time. I mentioned this to Sarah.
It's on page.
I would
It's
like to
on
make-
page 7. It's on
I
page
would
7.
like to make a suggestion to be considered that instead of 5:45, that maybe we make the meeting at 6 o'clock,
Why?
just for the timing of it. Because there were things I'm involved in, it's hard to get here 5:45, and not right now, but other people I've seen come a little bit later. Would that be, I'm just making a suggestion to be considered, if not, that's okay. Especially school's starting up pretty soon as well.
I just came from school.
Yeah, I mean, with full-blown, sessions and things like that, just throwing it out, you
Okay.
know, it's not,
And
that's
if you look
fine.
at other commission meetings and other committee meetings, some are meeting at 6:30, some are meeting at 6,
Yeah, different
some are meeting
times.
at 5:30.
The
I know
Parks
that
and Rec, I
we are
think,
we are
is
meeting at 5:30.
5:45,
5:45.
Five, I think,
Well,
right.
that's incorrect.
I'm just throwing out for consideration.
I mean,
Well, yeah, this is incorrect in here.
Maybe
Yeah,
not, it's not
it's
on
the
the
second
agenda, so we don't have to
Wednesday.
discuss it now, I'm just saying, just.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Second
right.
Wednesday, that's from a
Actually-
while back.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
yeah, it's on Tuesday.
Second
Email.
Tuesday.
Leslie did when she did present
Jump
it.
in if you want.
When she presented the handbook, she did say that it wasn't not
Up to
the
date.
final version, and that it's a living document at this point because it hasn't been solidified, because there's a lot of things she's still working on.
Oh, okay.
So we can definitely. She said if you have any
Input or suggestions, okay,
or
good.
not suggestions, but like if there's like things that are
Comments.
incorrect, please
Right.
let your staff liaisons know, and they can forward that into. Alright.
I'll send her an email.
Yeah. So there's a code of we're gonna go over roles and responsibilities of the commission. They're all there on page 3. There is a code of ethics, A through J. That's on page 4. Page 5, you have ethics training. There's the online ethics course that we all have to take when we signed up as a commissioner.
But it says we're supposed to do it every 2 years.
Yeah. Staff liaisons need to get on that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, man.
Conflict of interest, that's related to the Form 700. You're a business owner and you are on a commission and you're gaining or profiting from being on that commission through decisions made on that commission. We are on public record, so that's why we have our staff liaisons take minutes, and we are also live and streaming.
If it's working.
My wife is probably watching me right now and laughing.
If you look on page 7, it notes that our commission meets at 5:30.
Yeah, so this is actually, it says second Wednesday, we switched that to a Tuesday many years ago.
Yeah.
How many years ago? I don't know. Yeah, 4-year terms too as well. All commissions with the exception of neighborhood improvement, parks and recreation, and the new community development committee is only 2 years. But definitely, that's something that we can investigate.
Thank you.
Changing time,
Just looking at
something
the
we can
thing.
talk about as a group, but a lot of times our 5:45 meetings end up being 8:45 to 8:45 meetings, and that's a really long time. Of course, it is only once a month, but something to consider. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Policies and procedures on page 9, general guidelines of appointed members. Your roles and responsibilities are there. I'm not going through this too fast, am I? Okay. I mean, it is a dense packet. If you need clarification, it's all there. You can read. I'm not going to read everything with you. Requirements and process. Living in the city of Seaside.
It does say here that you're supposed to live in the city.
Yes.
You have to be a Seaside resident in order to be on the
Yes.
commission. That was made very clear to me. I did ask about CSUMB students and if they have a marina address, which I think the
A lot of
campuses
them do.
are.
Well, actually, if they're living in the dorms, that is a
Or
Seaside
staff, we're talking
address.
about.
Yeah, but
So
if they're out
really,
in
literally
Schoonover
different.
or Preston
Those are
or
all.
Fredericks, those are all marina.
So those cannot.
But that might change.
Commission?
That might change in that new development that's happening over on the campus pretty much, right?
So if that becomes, if that's a Seaside address, if that's in
That
Seaside,
changes
then
things.
that changes it.
That's that live workspace with the, apartments above the businesses, etc.
East Garrison.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I think East
Is
Garrison is
Garrison-
unincorporated.
I believe it still falls under marina though, because I
Does
remember
it?
house hunting over there, and I remember it being talked about as marina.
Oh.
East Garrison?
Yeah.
But it's its own city.
Yeah, they're trying to create their own town over there. Like the plans they got
Yeah.
are quite impressive, to be honest.
The addresses are East Garrison.
Oh,
not
is it?
Marina.
Oh.
Yeah, because I've
I
had
think
a
it's
few people that have moved out
considered
there that I
unincorporated.
know
Our
of,
zip
and
code?
it's
But it
East
probably
Garrison.
would be 12
But I
like
think it has
or
Marina's
Salinas.
zip code.
That would make sense.
Service
Yeah.
Marina, but it's
All
East
members
Garrison.
must be residents of the city of
Yeah.
Seaside with the exception of the Board of Architectural Review. Why is that? Why is that?
That is a good question. I will ask
I'm
for
kind
it.
of curious.
What is it? What?
Why does why are all members must be
Not enough
residents of the city of
architects in
Seaside with the
Because they
exception of
decided the
Board of
architectural framework.
Architectural Review. You don't have to be an architect to be on the board.
No, but you have to be,
No.
you have to, because if you're gonna tell how the city should look, you should be there. I think that's, every commission I've been on, that's been mandatory. When you look at architectural review, because you have people doing things in cities that don't even live there. They live in San Francisco and other
This is
places.
weird. So
But the
why is
people
that
who
the
live there
exception?
should,
Yeah.
but you're gonna live there, that's your home.
That's a
Yeah.
good question. I
That's a
will
very
wonder.
good question. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder
they-
why that is.
Because you
They have to
decided,
have a degree or something,
No, I don't believe so.
or something.
yeah, they have to have
It's-
professional experience, not a degree, but professional
It's-
experience.
There's, because I remember asking about that
Professional
too.
experience. Because you're doing
And,
architectural review, you have the ERIs and all that stuff like that.
I don't know.
You gotta know what you're talking about, otherwise people, you said,
All
put two
right.
chimneys over here, and knock down this one, and then, boy.
Yeah,
the
Bar,
problem.
they had contractors from other cities on there. Cause I had to go through them for something, and they were not,
So they're like,
Seaside
it's like an
residents.
expert panel,
You have to be expert, yeah.
yeah,
right?
yes.
It's like an expert panel, so it is, yeah, you should know something about Seaside, but you also wanna have a diverse.
Expertise, yeah.
It's more than
People
just
who are making
architects,
cause
it's
they're making
engineers,
they're making a
it's
decision about.
civil engineers, it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
how.
more than
how
just
your
art, it could be
property-
general contractors.
Yes.
And we have a lot of those in Seaside, honestly.
A lot of them were, I mean, there was maybe one or two people that were Seaside residents, all the rest were not.
That's weird. Alright, filling vacancies, that's on page 10, appointment limitations, holding
Did we have any more
compatible
feedback
office.
from the person who visited here the last meeting? Is she gonna take the commission spot? I've got her name.
So,
Vacancy.
again, we haven't heard I haven't heard anything. I know that, the mayor's
Ashley?
trying to get more appointments through, but there are a lot of commissions that are like us, that have lost members and are low. That was something that was expressed and shared at that meeting, that they're looking to grow their numbers. We are actually a healthier number than a couple of the ones that were there.
But did we hear back
Yes.
from the person who visited the last time, Ashley?
No, we have not. We have reached out,
You have
we
reached out.
have made the connection, we have informed the mayor and the
We haven't
deputy
heard
city
more.
manager, and she has not responded, to my
Maybe
knowledge.
with the holidays as well.
Maybe,
People
but-
busy.
Yeah, so we'll give it a little time and see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
but
Okay.
they are aware.
So, responsibilities on page 12 and 13. You know, these are our bulleted and main responsibilities as commissioners on this commission. Just go through them. We get business cards, but they don't have any contact information on them.
You know, if you'd like business cards, that's definitely something that you guys
The big thing,
don't have.
the big ticket item for us is an annual work plan that we share with the city council. And the annual work plan includes a list of prior year accomplishments. Work plans are updated each fiscal year in accordance with the template and instructions provided by our city clerk. So a lot of the hard work is done. Work plans are to be completed by each commission and provided to the city council on a regular meeting no later than April 15th of each year. Now, I was shared with all the different work plans from every commission and committee that's working for the city, and they all look the same pretty much. Now, ours was kind of cool because it was broken down into bullets, made it easier to read. Some of them were a little bit more dense, but they were still following the same template. So, all right, moving on to meetings on page 14. Meeting types. There's also issues of the Brown Act, where we have to include public. It cannot be a closed session. We must allow public to attend and be a part of our meetings. Developing a meeting agenda, there's a policy that we adhere to, conducting meetings, meeting process. And this is gonna break down how we build our agenda, how do we add things to the agenda on the day of, what are the deadlines for putting something onto the agenda, so it's very transparent. Public comment, again referring again to the Brown Act, allow public time to address the commission. Election of officers, role of the chair. Yes,
On page 14,
yes,
they are defining a quorum as as half plus one of the seats that are
Members of the commission.
of the entire commission,
Right.
not just the seats that are full. I mean, so
Right.
technically,
I asked
doesn't
for,
that say?
I asked for clarification,
Oh, okay.
and because we have 5
Yeah.
current members, they let us do
Okay.
3.
Okay.
So quorum is
Okay.
ready.
Because it's weird.
Yeah, cause
They say that.
if, what you could do is change it to a workshop if you're below quorum. Cause I've been in a commission where they'll wait till another person arrives before they officially start the meeting. Otherwise, a workshop, you don't need to have that quorum in that way. You could declare it a workshop, but if you don't have that number, so we're 5 official members right now,
yes.
so who's gonna be the half person?
I don't know anything about a workshop. We don't have that
I've
as,
never
No, I
as
think
a
that,
part.
that's an option if you're a group, because the times people get together, they're short of person. So instead of telling everybody to go wherever they live, they declared a workshop in that way.
I
Because
know
if you're cities
that
with Brown Act, you're not supposed to meet unless you're a quorum.
in previous practice, what we do, if we do not have quorum,
No, I think with,
we
you're
cancel
just
a
a
meeting,
very
yeah.
plus.
Because we can't
Very plus.
vote on any agendized
That's
items, we
around
can't
that,
move
yeah.
anything along, so,
You can't even really touch the agenda if you
correct.
don't have a quorum.
Alright, roles of the chair. In every calendar year, members of the commission are elected chairperson and vice chairperson, Jamie. 1 year until a successor is appointed. Principal role of the chair is to manage the board, commission, and committee meetings. This includes helping to set the agendas, maintaining the order of the business during the meeting, focusing discussion on issues at hand, and ensuring that public appearing before the body are treated courteously. Okay. Let's see, what verse? Okay, attendance, regular attendance at meeting is critical to the effective operation of city boards, commissions, committees. All commissioners are expected to attend all their appointed board, commission, or committee meetings. If you're unable to attend, you must contact your chair or staff liaison. I know that, we need to make sure that our staff liaisons are being notified if you're not gonna be able to make it. Commissioners deemed absent from the meeting if they're not present for 2/3 of the entire meeting. Again, we only meet once a month, so attendance is kind of a paramount, so. Alright, so we're moving on to page 17, basic city organization and the budget. These are things that we should be aware of, but we don't have to know in detail, nor the city departments. It is good to know that you have a cursory understanding of how our city is run, who's involved, what departments there are. So these last few are walking through what's in our city government, who's running what, who's doing what. The annual work plan template is on page 22, which is the last page of this handbook, and this is the template that we follow. So when you look at this is a standard template used by all boards and commissions, including the annual work plans. Work plans are based on a fiscal year rather than a calendar year. This is what was brought up. I believe there's one commission that works off of a different annual budget than us. They do a calendar year versus a fiscal year, I believe. Or no, they do a fiscal year versus a calendar year because what commission was it? I can't remember. They have a different calendar than us. Their work plan is a little bit different. Each board and commission each board and commission are approved for a regular board or commission meeting no later than April 1st. For each office of the clerk will then transmit the work plans to the city council approval in May. Cover sheet, mission statement, historical background, fiscal year work plan. This should provide goals and objectives, no more than 5 on the work plan. Activities planned to accomplish the goal, priority ranking of each goal, and timeline anticipation to accomplish the goal. So we've done that in bullets versus like a long diatribe of things that we've done, which I like. It's very clear. It's easier for council members to read it. I don't know. I that's the way I like it too as well. Then we do prior year accomplishments, the things that we did and were able to finish and complete for that previous fiscal year or previous year. And then we always talk about like what we're hopefully going to accomplish going forward. And again, all in bullets. It makes it much clearer. I saw some of the other work plans and there were these long paragraphs of, and I don't think that's necessarily I just don't prefer that style personally. I think breaking it down in bullets, the council members and other commissioners can see what we're doing really easily. So that's what we're going to adhere to. I hope we continue that best practice going forward in making our work plan for this year. We're going to hopefully, Sarah, will you bring for February? Can you bring the work plan from last fiscal year to our meeting?
Yeah,
You
it's
have
in
it
the
right
packet
here
this
too
time,
as well?
but yeah,
So,
I will put it in
just
the
in
packet
case.
as well. Yeah.
So if you guys can pull this work plan out, we'll come back, we'll circle back to the code of conduct in a minute, but you have a copy of last year's work plan that we submitted in April. Again, it's all broken down in bullets. I really like it. It's really clear. I think I was really proud of showing this work plan to other chairs from other commissions. It's very explicit. And it's easy to read. You don't have to try and search through a bunch of other content to find out the real talking points of what we did and what we plan on doing. So again, mission statement hasn't changed much. I think we tightened it up for the year 2018-2019, and then the historical background. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. Goals, accomplishments. If you look at our ongoing things as well as next year plans, a lot of those things are the same. Okay. If you guys can please pull out the code of conduct, please. And this is a separate sheet. It should say code of conduct at the very top. It's, this is one page, I'll just read it. City of Seaside elected officials, members of boards, commissions, and committees, and staff, have an obligation to conduct themselves in accordance with local, state, and federal laws and regulations, including ethics regulations, and in accordance with the following code of conduct. City of Seaside officials will be appreciative. It is a privilege to serve the citizens and the visitors of the City of Seaside. The opportunity to serve should be understood to be unique and fleeting opportunity that is approached with gratitude. Kind. The City of Seaside is a municipal service organization. The city exists to serve its citizens, visitors, business owners, and employees, and can most transformatively do so by demonstrating unsparing kindness to each other and those who come in contact with while representing the city. So as you know, if you're wearing your commissioner badge, you're a representative not only of this commission but also the City of Seaside. Civil. Life and public service demands respectful and supportive behavior at all times. Representatives of the city are to be courteous and polite to each other and everyone they meet. Inquisitive. One of Seaside's greatest treasures is its remarkable diversity. Seaside officials are immersed in diverse cultures, perspectives, and traditions, and must be genuinely interested in, supportive of, rather than judgmental about other cultures, perspectives, and traditions. I know at one point Seaside High School had 65 different dialects spoken at home. I think that's down to 38 now. Caring. The youngest, most economically modest, and most inclusively reverent community on the Monterey Peninsula. Seaside exists to be the community where we care for one another, where we create brighter futures for our community's children, where we take care of those in the sunset of their lives, and where we reach out to those in need, whoever they may be. Humble. Look, we're pretty awesome, but let's be low-key about it. I like that, it's kind of cute. And self-aware, listen more, speak less, contribute more, complain less, smile more, frown less. You live in, work for, contribute to a remarkable city and community, be appreciative. Sarah, Ashley, you guys know who created these?
Our lovely city manager, in conjunction with, I'm sure, department heads of the city, came together to create this lovely document.
I see some e-nobles being this, honestly. There's some good to check out.
I'm sure the council is involved too.
Alright, so that's this handbook. Please take it with you. Please hold it, and kind of use it as a guideline for going forward. I know that sometimes I forget myself and get kind of lost in the business at hand, but I mean, it is a privilege to serve for the City of Seaside. It's been a privilege to do the work that I've been doing and working with you guys to accomplish those goals and keep things kind of going on and on. This is a good reminder of why we're here. Alright, let's see. So now we have pushed E through H, except for, H for next meeting. It's now 6 o'clock. Let's do reports from, did you want to, we're pushing that to the next meeting, right? Extravaganza.
Yeah, we're gonna push an extravaganza.
I can just give a quick update of my staff report.
Alright, let's do staff report moving forward, and we have 3 staff members here, so I know we're gonna talk.
Not a lot.
No.
We really don't have a lot to say. I was just gonna, if you look in your packet, I don't wanna get ahead of Jamie because I know she's gonna give a report that we did receive, the California Revealed grant, to start the digital preservation of the newspapers. So I won't get ahead of Jamie, I'll just say that. And I also think it's a privilege to work for the city and to be the state staff liaison to this lovely commission. And I appreciate all of you and thank you very much for all of your efforts and everything that you're doing. I think that 2020 is going to be a great year for the commission because we just have so much going on, but I see progress and I like it. And I think that I think that this particular council and mayor are very interested and invested in the history and culture and art of this city, and we should take every advantage and opportunity that we can to push the agenda of this commission forward. And with that,
Here.
For me, let's see. We do have Lori coming on the 20th, so Ashley and I will be here with her. It's a city holiday technically, but it was the only day that she was available, so we are going to make it work. Registration for Knit Extravaganza has opened. We already have 3 people registered, so that's pretty exciting.
And this is for the knit, and Lori is
The archivist who's going to come assess the archive.
oh, that's that person,
Yeah.
okay.
So, trying to think if there's anything else. We still have registration open for youth art. We still have registration open until next Monday, the 20th, for Black History. I know a certain teacher who still needs to get his registration in.
Bro, I gotta come to hear about that after the meeting.
So,
Wow.
yeah. But other than that, things are just plugging along. We've sent out postcards and stuff recently. Yeah, we've got the Four Friends reception this Friday. If you are able to make it, for the current exhibits.
You said you sent out postcards, do you have an example of them?
No, they're in my office. I can show them to you after the meeting if you would like.
What time's the reception again?
7. 7 p.m. at Avery.
They're bringing food too. I know that.
They're bringing food. It would be very nice if the commissioners could show up because of the fact that this is a smaller show. We won't have so much general public there. I mean, we of course promote it like we do every other show, but at the same time, usually there's more artists bringing more family and more friends. So the more people we can get there, probably the better. So
Cool.
that's all I got.
what's the time frame on the knit?
So, on the knitting extravaganza. So registration's open. It will be closing, I believe. Hang on, I've got the document right here. On the
This is online registration?
online registration. So the URL is bit.ly/knit Seaside 2020. So
Wait, can you email that to me?
of course.
And did we get any PR in Monterey Weekly or any of the newspapers?
We're working on that. Yes, we've released a media release. Emerson, who is not here, is very kindly going to be contacting the weekly specifically to make sure that is very promoted.
And Willie Hartnell with Seaside Post, he's being very proactive with the newspaper. In fact, he's a CSUMB student who's helping him.
Okay.
So he's coming up and he's dropping up the newspapers on campus and other places.
Okay,
It's good to have something included.
Yeah, we have been in contact with him regarding the archive, so we can totally continue to talk to him. So, did I put the meeting notes in there?
You have a knit extravaganza page.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm way more prepared than I thought I was.
I just didn't see it.
Yeah, so all of that is the
No, but there's no. What was the website again? I'm sorry.
bit.ly/knit Seaside 2020.
Cool. Sandra?
Okay, she covered what I was going to say about the reception, but I just want to
And you have a
on
postcard for
Friday.
that.
But we do have another reception that's going on Thursday, but it's a private reception in a way because the artwork is out in the lobbies from the Boys and Girls Club of Monterey County, and they're participating in a national art exhibit, and we've been invited to, Sarah and I have been invited to judge the art that's here to to choose what's going to be represented in the national one, I guess. And their reception is tomorrow.
Tomorrow or Thursday?
Thursday.
Oh, sorry,
At what
Thursday.
time?
But it's a private reception. They only want people who they've invited. It's not a public.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
okay, so
Not the
we can't.
commission? No?
I'm not sure about the commission.
I'm sure she would be. I'm
She
sure it'd be
would-
fine if
she
the
would probably
commissioners
love it.
What
arrived.
time is
and-
it?
Michigan.
What
But-
time is it?
It starts at 6. It's from 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
And
Here.
then- yeah,
Okay.
in the Laguna
In the
Grande
ballroom.
hall.
Definitely
We'll
check
be
out
moving the.
art.
Yeah, at least before you leave, go. Some of the art's really cute, and it's all for sale if you guys want to purchase it. So
We may have one sold already.
we have
Which is
may have
really
two
cool.
sold.
Two?
Two.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was one last week.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
staff have been buying.
Yeah, they like
art.
them.
Seems like we have at least one piece sold at every reception, or not reception, but every exhibit. Somebody from the staff buys it, or somebody
It's
who
kind of
came to the
an easy get,
reception.
like it comes to you.
It's
Yeah.
pretty hard.
It's like we've had people, they come in for interviews and then they're like, I'm buying all this art.
Yes, they want to anyway. And then the Black History, we have a little different focus this year. We're trying to have some collections of artifacts and historical items that people have collected. Francoise is going to participate
For the exhibit?
for the exhibit. I have some things that I've exhibited in the past that I may bring again. I've talked to Big Tommy over on Echo. I can never think of the name of that shop. Something about image. Newer Image.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, sells
and
hats,
he's,
right?
yeah, but he has a real good collection that he inherited from his mother that goes back to slavery. And he would like to have us exhibit some of the artwork done by inmates at Soledad and connect that with the new slavery, as they say. Anyway, it's kind of dark humor or dark
And
sadness or whatever.
Jermaine's part of
Yeah,
that.
inmate art. So we're gonna have some of that included in the exhibit.
Yeah, Jermaine's actually already registered.
Yeah, she's one of the only ones that has.
I strongly lean on her to do that.
Good,
Thank
you.
That's great. We're looking forward to seeing that.
It's pretty amazing.
The problem is
Make you cry.
finding the artists that, because most of them have left the area, and I took the time to call all of them that were on the exhibit list from last year, and I did get a few to say that they were going to exhibit, but one dropped out already.
Have you thought about reaching out to CSUMB, because they're doing an all-black gala at the end of the month, and they're really, faculty and staff are trying to be very inclusive of the students there as well, of all the different groups.
I have contacted them through Gail Salgado and another lady that works there in the art department, but I haven't
get in
gotten
contact with
any.
you. I'll
Stephanie Johnson?
there's a collaborative meeting, so I'll get
Or
something to
Dominique.
you.
What did you say?
Stephanie Johnson.
Okay.
Reach out to Stephanie Johnson.
No, I haven't done that. Could you?
She's one of the tenured faculty members. Yeah, I can email her. They are not, let me just be real, they are not really good about returning emails or phone
Oh.
calls.
Oh.
I don't know if they're just really busy or if they're I don't know.
Just
But
haven't done it.
I'm just, I've emailed them on several occasions about other community events and they've been not very receptive.
Oh.
So, but I will email Stephanie Johnson about, can you send me that link, Sarah?
Yeah, I can do that right now.
So it's always a leap of faith with the Black History exhibit, and it's not going to change this year. Even though we do have pre-registration, which is up on on Monday is the last day. We may have to extend it to maybe Friday or something. That's just a thought that I just had, since it's so hard to get people to actually do it.
So you don't have, but you said you have enough room, or you don't have enough room?
We have plenty of room.
You have plenty of room for the exhibits?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
We have plenty of room. It's just,
we have room in the
it's-
cases for artifacts and
Artifacts, okay.
3-dimensional or fragile items.
It
And
used
then
to be a
on the
show
walls,
that
I'm
was hard
asking
to
for things that are on the walls to be framed
accommodate all the
or
artwork.
under glass, unless they're copies, and then they can
Okay,
be
then you get
put
okay.
up
Okay.
as a display like we did with the history exhibit. We could
Yeah.
have them put up as a panel of artwork.
Have you talked with Jody Gully?
No, I didn't.
I think he lives in Marina. I haven't seen him in a
No,
long time.
Jody lives in,
Salinas?
nope, further. He's,
Oh, that's right. He bought a
Greenfield.
house.
yeah, he bought a house way
Was
in
it Las Vegas?
Hollister, I think it is. Either
Hollister?
Hollister or
different
Los
directions.
Banas.
Okay.
One or the other, but I think it's
Yes,
Hollister
yes.
that Jody moved to.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a
So
little
he might
far.
not-
Completely
he's-
forgot.
That's a little far.
He's really hard to get to participate.
The one person
this
to
person?
contact is Otis.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that's
But
when I
he,
ended up seeing him out.
he wanted to, I thought I would get him last year and he just never came through.
Who is the person?
And what about
You're talking about
Jody.
Stephen Levinson? He may have some items.
Hmm.
He may have.
We did talk to him actually at the art out for the fall art competition, and we were like, please, and he was like, I'll see. So,
I talked to him today, and I'm going to talk to him more tomorrow.
yeah,
Oh,
feel free,
good.
just
Please do
Because
that.
that
push
one,
it. Yeah.
that one newspaper that I have that has Angela Davis, he also has that.
Mm-hmm.
He actually found something that Angela Davis spoke at El Estero.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like that other one that I have for that march, or that, how would you call it? It's not a poster, it's like a bulletin. It's like not
I
a
know
flyer,
that.
but
Educational poster
How-
of
how
some
could-
sort, like a
it's
almost like
it's
a
for like
poster
a rally,
PSA. Oh, okay.
like for
protest
for
art.
Mhm.
Right.
That's a good,
yes.
Like
good
protest art.
description.
It's like a handbill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bill, that's even
It's
better.
like a
But it's bigger.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a flyer that people would okay.
They didn't call them
Educational
flyers
flyer.
then, but that's a good word. Handbill.
Handbill.
Yeah. Hmm.
Handbill?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're not just paper.
So, that's
Anything
pretty
else?
much else. That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
I don't want anything else can wait till next meeting.
Speak now, forever hold your tongue.
You really want me to hold my tongue?
No, I
trust me.
don't. No, I don't.
No?
It's all good.
Come
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
on.
hold on.
Can I just add?
Yes.
Because I looked it up because the bar thing was really bugging me. There are three, it was just bugging me. I just had so on bar, there's a licensed architect, a licensed building contractor, a licensed landscape architect, and then 2 members at large.
Those don't have to necessarily be people who are professionals within that field, within the
Exactly.
field of architecture.
Right. I don't know if that helps at all, but
I'm
looked it up
curious.
because I-
Those 2 members at large.
Are
Those
they-
2 members at large should be
Seaside, right?
residents of Seaside.
I think Lori from the Garden Center was on there one time.
Which makes sense. I just, I know that there was, that's right, there wasn't anybody from Bar there at the meeting with the mayor. So,
And I think too, like, you have to remember, like, this stuff is written into the code
yeah,
for the city. So, like, a lot of this stuff is really old code and like, law. We're not getting around it.
Okay.
And I'm sure there was a reason why they wrote it that way. And probably it was just
it gives
Maybe
them a
because
little
they
bit
couldn't
more.
find anybody with those qualifications in Seaside, or they said they couldn't find anybody with those qualifications in Seaside.
not to get us too far off track. I just want
But our handbook does
Okay.
give those members of Bar
Yeah.
guidance as to how to make the decisions too as well. So, okay, thank you very much. Reports from commissioners. Jamie.
And wait, about the person who's coming, she is gonna be here just for a few hours, the consultant.
Yes.
Mhm.
She's only going to be coming in for about a half a day. She'll be here. She's
This is for the archives, the
Yes.
person?
we're gonna meet with her, discuss what we need and what we're looking for in terms of her quote that she's gonna be building and designing about regarding our needs. We're gonna give her a tour, show her what we got.
Alright.
So we'll be with her the whole time.
Yeah. She will not be left alone.
So if there's someone from the commission wants to come and meet
When
with
is she
us,
coming?
meet her at some
Monday.
point. She'll be here
This
on
Monday?
Yeah, the 20th is gonna be
And Monday's a
crazy
holiday
here.
here, it's gonna be
No.
super
Yeah.
busy, so.
Monday to 20th, at what time is she here?
She will be here at noon, but we're gonna be,
Oh, wow.
we're not gonna be at a specific place, we're gonna be kind of all around.
That's when everybody
So what
gathers
time does that
at
start?
that one with the thing and the.
Sandra, I know you know.
MLK parade.
MLK
and
parade starts when?
event
And it
starts.
meets at the county offices over on the corner of Noche Buena and Rock
Starts
and
down
Obama
there
Way,
and
right?
ends here.
Mhm.
Right. So what time does it start?
In the
usually?
morning, right?
Like
It usually starts at
10 o'clock.
10 or 11.
10 or 11 o'clock?
11.
Yeah, I'm
Y'all
not
work
sure.
big city. Y'all are supposed to be there too.
I know I can't do it this year.
What's that
Not
walking it
much.
this year?
And my husband
Myself.
just read this new
Martin
kid.
Luther King.
What time he does it?
I'm not- That's Monday.
All right.
But okay, well maybe I will come then. And she's gonna be here right at noon.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
I'll come before.
I will
then.
try to come and I will try to dig up some of the descriptive materials we already have about the archives.
That'd be wonderful.
Um,
That would be wonderful,
because
Jane.
I imagine
That's what
she
they're asking, but I'm not sure.
would like some
I
background.
think it's
Probably, yeah.
either 10 or 11.
Anything helps, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more.
I will
So-
try to do that.
That would be great. Thank you. Do you have anything? So we have a report from Commissioner Janey.
Yeah.
So talk to us, please.
Okay, well, in your packet is the letter we received, in late December, that we were, awarded, it's not exactly a grant, but they're going to do the digitization for us of the newspapers that we submitted. What we have to do in the next couple of months, by March 13th, is to add metadata or descriptive information about more than just the date and the name of the newspaper. And I will take care of that. We also need to hack these things up and I could use help with that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, just we will carve out time on our calendar. We'll just sit down
Okay.
together and figure it out, and we'll definitely carve out time so that we can
Okay.
work on that.
I'm gonna give us the list too, and we'll order everything.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'll give you all that material and yeah. No styrofoam peanuts.
No.
They-
No, we've got tons. Okay, so no,
You
sorry,
have
do they
bubble
also
wrap?
say anything? We don't have bubble. Oh, we do have bubble wrap. We have bubble wrap, and we have the non-acidic crinkle paper, the like zigzaggy paper. It's not peanuts, but I mean it's a packing
Okay.
material.
Well, let me just give you this, and then there's something else called a newspaper shipping manifest.
Do you have that digitally that you can just email it to me?
Yes,
Perfect.
okay. Email to Sarah.
Thank you.
Did I see that email? I can just forward it to you.
Which
The one, did it come from Teresa? The California Revealed stuff?
This is just stuff I found
Oh, you
when
found
when I went online, looking to see. I
On the
mean,
website?
there were links in the letter, but the links didn't work, so
Oh,
I
no.
had to
Okay.
go on the website and
Gotcha.
poke around, so I will email you what I found.
Yeah, so in the links you have like digitization and preservation agreement, shipping guidelines, and metadata guidelines.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, yeah, as long as I can get to those shipping guidelines and the metadata
Okay.
guidelines, like that's all that really.
Well, the links
Yeah.
didn't seem to work from
Yeah, they
either.
don't work from the letter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I can always like
Okay, well,
I can always get into the back end of the email and get the URL. Like that's not
Okay,
for me.
okay, yeah,
it's
But-
in that letter, I already sent it to you.
Okay, perfect.
okay.
What was the subject?
California Revealed Winter 2019-2020 submissions.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's their email address.
I'll send it to you
so-
again, Sarah.
Yeah, because it's actually not showing up. I have template grant permission.
Oh, I might have renamed it.
Oops.
I'll send it to you again.
Okay.
And I will send you this, which are the links.
Yep. Great.
That
I appreciate it.
couldn't be made from the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be good then. I know there's a lot going on, but they have a deadline on this.
Yep.
Since they waited months to let us know,
And then all of a sudden,
Oh,
yeah,
they
My
Yeah.
entire job is deadlines. Don't worry about it. It's just one more.
How it always is.
But it'll be good, cause once they digitize it, it'll be
Yep.
up there for people to see.
Before, anything else, Jamie? I'm sorry.
Wow.
Anything else? Any other reports from
I like to say,
commissioners?
I was over with Francois and Michael over to the chapel over on Fort Ord. We did a little bit of a tour, and what they're looking at doing, they're basically what is it? Religious sides,
Commission.
what term do they use for that?
Decommissioned?
Francois? It's sort of de-religicized, so now it's gonna be used, so that they made it unreligious now, they kind of did something to make it religious. There's a special term that the.
Yeah, I'm blanking on the word. I literally used it the other day.
What's gonna happen, they have some very fascinating,
The anointed.
pane glass windows,
Yes.
trying to find a home for them. So that was the thing, they haven't found a home as yet, but that's going to be the new location for the fire station as well as for the police department.
Which makes sense because it's been closer to a lot of the housing that's happening. Cause
Well, really because they own that building, they own the chapel and the, what looks like it was a schoolhouse or something, so
please
the
don't
other
put a name
buildings
forward
they're
for
using
those
for
stained
police
glass.
department is a lease. So for them it makes sense, let's use a building that we own, that we don't have to pay for the lease where the police are now giggling. So that's gonna be up there, so, but anyway, looking for a house for the,
The stained glass.
excuse me,
So
I claim,
they want homes for the stained glass pieces.
yeah, for the stained glass, that's
Wasn't
what
it
they.
mentioned at the last meeting that these stained glass pieces are
They're huge.
massive?
Mhm.
They're
They're not,
gigantic.
no, they're horrible because they are separate little panels, this section, we looked at it, and it doesn't look like it's hard to pull them out, cause they're individually framed. It's just someone who has to take on that responsibility.
Of pulling them out.
They're pretty
It
thick.
doesn't seem, it's like window pane, they're little rectangle window panes that, it's not like taking a whole big glass pane out. They're already sectioned off. There's some big ones, but most of them are little small so that's one
I
thing.
caution us trying to even try.
So that's one thing there, and there's some people.
As a commission, as, it
And
won't
then
fit in our tire.
And then the second, I worked with Gloria to have over at Seaside Creates on Broadway. There's an exhibit there from National Parks called the Answer Trail.
Yes.
So that's
Yes,
there
you
now
told us about
ongoing.
it.
If you, I don't know if it's interesting to make a trip there. I'm gonna see about getting accommodation for the National Parks people responsible for it from the city. And I don't know if you guys like to do, so that's something we could say that we've accomplished, or we're looking at a work plan, just cause I've done it before, when I've kind of facilitated the exhibit going to other communities, they always do something with, accommodation to National Park, the Enter Trail people, and then they come down in their uniform, it's just something that shows that there's some
Like a
activity going.
proclamation.
Right, yeah. Well, not, it doesn't even have to be a proclamation, sort of accommodation, thank you for bringing the thing down and installing it and things like that, so.
That's an easy get.
And so,
For sure.
Gloria, right now is where I went out, because right now it's a structure that's pretty good size. There wasn't enough room in the Seaside Create spot, so they gave permission for it to hang up on the wall. So Gloria, in fact, tomorrow she said she's gonna look at how because they're portable, they're movable now. Instead of having a whole installation, they came down with 6 people to install it. So, she gave permission for them just to hang on the walls. Because if you do things, we had it in the window, you have to, there's an ordinance of what you can put in windows. So, if you keep it more than so many days, you have to go with the ordinance or something like that, so there's flexibility, that's one thing there. And looking ahead, there's a big initiative with the Buffalo Soldiers. Monterey's gonna be doing something, I think PG as well. It'd be lovely if we could do something here. There's Buffalo Soldiers, they call them Iron Horses, coming up from San Diego with like their motorcycles.
The traveling.
So it's a big thing, and several years ago, because Buffalo Soldiers, the 9th Cavalry was stationed here, right? And you probably don't know this, but I just did a little bit of research on the cemetery. The Palm Cemetery is the first integrated cemetery in the whole United States.
The what cemetery?
The Presidio, Monterey, Palm.
So
Oh, Presidio Monterey. Okay.
That cemetery is the first integrated cemetery in the whole United States, and that is something. Because even the historian there for Palm didn't know that, just digging it up. So there's a lot of interesting, fascinating things in the community, digging down a little bit deeper in that way, so.
I have a thought, maybe I'll bring it to the next meeting. My father did something with, I wanna say it was with Pope McDonald, about a Buffalo Soldier exhibit some years back.
Did something?
Yeah, he did it, but, you know, they're both gone now, so, I don't know.
But they're planning like a big thing.
Pope McDonald was one of them.
They're
Because
a
we can do
motorcycle group of Buffalo Soldiers.
Right,
coming
they're
up from
looking
San
at them
Diego.
coming in and doing like a parade, because, you know, from Seaside, they went down to Yosemite. And right now, I have someone forwarded to me the
Why would the
agenda,
Buffalo Soldiers
who
be on
they went
motorcycles?
to get their hay.
Their
I
horse.
don't know.
Is that like the whole interesting
Well, you know, they
history?
can't
But
ride
nice to be
horses from
included.
San Diego. So, I mean, what capacity is the commission, is the Seaside Art and History Commission going to?
I would think just to, you know, like for a lot of different things happening around, people just show that at least you're aware of it, and like a little bit, we did the archive crawl, you know. It's not like mounting something, it's not bringing in the cavalry and the horses and things.
Okay, but just so we're aware, and then
Aware,
maybe,
and then maybe if there's something, maybe when
accommodate
they
them
come
some
through,
way.
maybe we can have a little get together with some tea or coffee for them, you know, just little things you could do just to show you have that community involvement or spirit, and
Okay.
things in that way.
If you could bring the schedule of when they're going to be planning
Yeah,
on
because
coming
that's
in
still
this
being
area,
worked
that'd
on
be-
now, so
that would
that'd
be
be
great.
lovely if it could, especially, I didn't realize the history is so rich with the 1904. The person who, and the first permanent resident of the county is a Buffalo Soldier from Alabama in 1904. He's the very first one, so it's really a lot of significance there. 1904, they recruited him from Alabama, the first, what we call permanent resident. So it's fascinating, it's a very rich history,
Yeah, very cool.
very rich history.
Okay. I think we're close to wrapping up, folks.
I
Again,
have cake, but I don't think anybody has plates. I have a
Oh.
cake that I brought.
I'm going to eat. Guys, we have
700?
what? I'm sorry. Oh yeah, the 700 form, please. You have new forms
It's
for us,
inside
please.
here.
And so that one, that's
Don't
what
use that one.
the one they gave me has the wrong year.
Has the wrong
So
year.
they're
Has the
giving me a
wrong
new
what?
one, the wrong year. It says 2017 on
years
it.
ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can we do it for
Sandra?
next time?
on
Can you what?
Oh,
for
this
the
is
next
for
week, could
this
you bring
past year?
exhibits calendar,
That's
a mock-up for
correct
21,
one.
But would it be for
21?
this year?
It's for
Would it
this
be for
year.
2021.
2020?
That's
You
all
want a 2021 calendar?
Remember the Yak mentor show that I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
include
Yeah, for
Okay.
2020.
when the next
Thank you,
month cycle.
thank you.
Yeah,
Just,
definitely.
And I was gonna also talk about the Seaside Artists Association becoming a city-sponsored event, but that has all the stuff has to be worked out, so I don't want to bring it up.
Let's
I
bring
mean,
that up.
worst comes to worst, you can put that on the next agenda.
So, I'm not an expert at filling out this form. I remember Nancy would walk us through this.
The agency name is what she said.
Okay, so now I have a filled out
What to do.
one from
Yeah, 'cause
one
I always
Mr.
mess up.
Willie Gray that I can show you as an example. I'm just gonna find it in my favorites here.
But I think, doesn't she have on file, Leslie should have on file all the ones that everyone filled out last year.
Yes, but you have
Yeah.
to fill out a new one every year.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
have to update it.
So,
And that one had the wrong date on it
yeah,
too.
so as you can see, Willie's crossed out.
Seaside, and then,
Did he do another one? Do you know?
That's just what
Seaside,
Terry
and-
handed me.
and the commission
So she said, show them this.
Seaside.
Okay,
Art History.
I'm cool with that.
Wait, division? That's the Seaside Art and History Commission? That's division.
Yeah.
That's division, yes.
So when are we looking at having the input for our calendar?
You
Are
need
we
to,
gonna look at having it
That's
before
gonna-
April?
you have to fill out that form now.
No,
you
I'll
can't-
turn it in, no, I'll just go with Leslie and see what I did, and I know you just have to update with the date. I'll make sure you have it tomorrow.
Agency.
I mean, you fill out tonight if you want me to turn it into Leslie, because that's all I'm gonna do with it. Like,
Yeah.
So if you just make sure you get it to Leslie and.
Okay.
Jurisdiction of office. That's my son. Oh. City of
City of
Seaside.
Seaside. And then we say, no, we got none.
I've got nothing. No
Oh,
conflict
wait,
of
this is 2019. Oops, can we change it to?
I would just cross out 2020 at this point. I mean, this is the second time they've filled out, they sent out this form and it's still incorrect, so.
Or,
Even the new one is wrong
Yeah,
too.
you're gonna have to put
What does it
2020.
say?
Yeah, I would just cross it out and put 2020. And if they've got a problem with it, they'll send new ones that finally say 2020 and we'll bring it to the next meeting.
none.
Something maybe 2 years ago, Sandra,
Can I
when you
put-
had an exhibit
Do I
for the
put this
commissioners'
address on
artwork.
440 Park?
I might be able to get
440
on a
Park
different
Road.
commission.
I don't know.
Wait, what?
Does that ring a bell?
So instead of Oldemeyer,
We never had
Oh.
an exhibit.
put the city hall
For
address.
everybody.
The bottom.
Maybe 2
Yeah.
years ago or
It's
something.
been a long
What about
About
number
2 or
3
3
type
years
of
ago.
statement?
longer than that.
Annual.
So there is, okay, I was thinking, is it here or is
Here it
it
is.
Santa Clara or something? It
January
was here,
1,
right?
2020.
Well,
Now they-
before your time on the commission.
So,
way
no, I
before
think
that.
like, maybe at the very beginning,
No,
Wait a minute.
it's
It's
been
confusing.
years, many years,
Commissioner
since
artwork.
they've had
Do
an
you
exhibit
say
of commissioners'
student office?
artwork.
No, it's just for that period because you've been a part of the commission.
So it's something you
now,
ever do all
have
the
to
time?
No,
No, okay.
it used to be something they did every so
Okay,
many
number
years,
4
but I
schedule.
can't remember the
Summary.
time span, but it
Schedule
used to
summary
be
must
something.
include
Should
the
be
whole number of pages, including its cover.
When it was the art
One.
commission before
So you have none.
combined.
Well, they
with-
combined it together. Or maybe
Including
they
the cover
shared, maybe
page,
the
so it's just
mayor
one.
shared it with me or something.
That's
I
it.
can't remember. I don't know, something
Cover
like
page
that.
1, and you none.
And it
You
was
don't have
usually in
it, you're not
conjunction
one.
with
Okay,
public,
so then we put what's
no, the
address?
staff, so any
440
city
artwork.
staff that did artwork would also be in that exhibit. But the gallery was much smaller then, because we didn't have that wall built at that time.
Okay. All right, folks. We have quite a packed agenda for next week.
Yep.
Next month. My fault. Thank you, Jane.
Here's the stack, thank you, Willie, and
Move. Motion to adjourn.
I
We
moved
need
that
to do
we
motion to
adjourn. I moved that we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
See you all Friday.
Thank you so much.
Yes, see you all Friday.
What happens Friday?
Friday is a For Friends
Oh, that-
reception at Avery.
And you said you got postcards.
I do. Let me grab you some.
And,
Teachers are
now are we
notorious
doing
for
food at our
stealing.
meetings anymore?